Relationships are one of the most complicated parts of human lives. It's something that has always been there, but it's like no one has ever been able to understand and find an answer to where the complications come up. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to talk about the INFJ personality type and the struggle that people carrying such a personality go through while managing their romantic relationships. There are a lot of things to discuss, so without any further ado, let's jump into it and find out the reasons. INFJs are compassionate individuals who are introverted and sensitive. This personality type is not so rare, but you will find a few people among the crowd because most INFJs prefer vibing along in the silos instead of mingling with the crowd. Another trait that is very common among the INFJs is that they are hopeless romantics who fall in love very easily, so finding the one for them is quite easy. But even after they find someone, it's the settling part that takes a long time. Giving you the context of the INFJ personality type and discussing their traits was important because without understanding what an INFJ personality is, understanding the reasons behind their struggle is difficult. Even among the INFJ personality type, things vary from individual to individual. However, the reasons that are common among them are discussed next. Number 1. INFJs are introverts, so making the first move is difficult for them. The biggest hurdle or issue that INFJ faces on their journey to a romantic relationship is that they are introverted, and making the first move is like moving a mountain for them. Loving someone or finding someone attractive is not a problem for them because, as I said, they are hopeless romantics and sensitive, so they fall in love very easily. What's difficult is talking and confessing their feelings to the one they like. Confessing and talking is always the starting point. If someone can't even express how they feel, how can it even start? Some INFJs might end up confessing, but it takes a lot of motivation, pressure, and sleepless nights for them to make up their mind and talk about it. Number 2, they don't open up easily. Opening up to people and presenting what their personality is like is one of the things that INFJ people really hate. For them to stay private and low-key is always preferable, instead of lowering their walls and telling people what they actually are. The thing is, INFJs are usually idealists and perfectionists, which means whatever they do it to the best of their capabilities. So, opening up for them means letting the world know about their imperfections and flaws, and that's something they are not very comfortable with. When you think of such characteristics and consider what is good for a relationship, all you'll find is that it is a disaster. Because in a romantic relationship, there is no such thing as perfect. Every human on this planet carries their flaws with them, but that doesn't make them bad humans. And when it comes to relationships, you can pretend for so long, but eventually it's going to come out. And that fear of getting their imperfections exposed to other people is something that makes the romantic relationship a lot more difficult. Number 3, INFJs take relationships seriously. When it comes to relationships, many people are often looking for something casual and temporary. However, for INFJ people, relationships always come first, and their prioritizing of relationships makes their personality a serious type. They are not in the market to look for a fling. If they're getting into a relationship, they make sure it's something long-term and permanent. Basically, they are looking for a soulmate instead of a time pass. So where it is a good trait to not take relationships for granted, it also causes hurdles in finding a partner in the first place. Because you will find very few people who will be immediately interested in becoming your permanent, and it's quite logical. You cannot understand someone just by looking at them, and relationships are usually built over time, and that's another struggle for INFJs when it comes to romantic relationships. Number 4, INFJs make a value judgment. There are some things very dear to the INFJ people, among which what sort of values a person carries is very important. Someone's character is a mirror image of the values they carry. If someone is honest and practices integrity, then it will show in their character. And so, INFJ people make sure that before they get into any relationship, the person they are getting attached to is a person who not only carries great values, but whose values align with the ones they follow. The fact that no two humans in the world are exactly the same, sometimes the values match, and other times they don't. If the person doesn't share the same values, doesn't mean he or she is not the right person to get into a relationship. However, that's not how an INFJ thinks. For them, if the values don't align, then they struggle with the relationship a lot. There is no doubt that some of the basic values that define someone's manner are important. For example, values like honesty, loyalty, and trust are important for any relationship to work. However, it's really not important if your significant other is a carbon copy of you. So it's natural that INFJs struggle with finding their romantic partners. Number 5. Perfectionism causes problems. As mentioned previously, no man on earth is perfect. No matter how pretentious one gets and portrays an image of being the perfect man to exist on the planet, eventually their true self is revealed after some time. But the problem with INFJs is that they are so obsessed with perfectionism that they try to seek a perfect partner for themselves. It's not like they do not apply the concept of perfectionism to themselves, as INFJs are very hard on themselves. They are always looking inwards, and they keep improving. So, when looking for a partner, they try to find someone who is perfect. If not perfect, then at least someone who is striving to become perfect. And there the problem starts. Not everyone is striving to become perfect, because there is no such thing as that. People learn to live with their flaws and want someone who can bring the best out of them while accepting their shortcomings. That not being the case with INFJs make them struggle a lot with their relationships, and for a long time they end up staying alone. Number 6. INFJs need space. INFJs are introverts, and there is one thing that causes a lot of trouble with making their relationship a success, is the fact that they need a lot of space. Introverts have a very limited amount of social energy, and once it's all drained out, they prefer going back to silos and spending time alone to recoup all the lost energy. It's not such a bad thing. In fact, someone enjoying their own company is a good trait. Because if someone is happy with themselves, only then they are going to be happy with their romantic partners. But this whole demanding space and going back into their silos often becomes quite problematic when in a relationship. When two people are together, that means they are going to be there for each other. However, for INFJ, their alone time is also important, and sometimes they might get off the grid. In such a case, sustaining a healthy relationship for a long time often becomes a struggle from both sides. Number 7. INFJs easily get overwhelmed. INFJ people are quite sensitive, and that sensitivity often makes them overwhelmed. It doesn't matter if it's something positive or negative. If the situation is out of the ordinary, then they will get overwhelmed. This is not necessarily bad, because the same sensitivity that makes them too excited or embarrassed at times also brings out some of the best emotions, such as compassion and empathy towards others. They know how it feels if things go wrong, and in that consideration, they take care of other people. They are aware of feelings and emotions themselves, and so they consider the emotions of others as well. However, these are good things, but for a relationship to work, sometimes too many emotions become a bad thing. There are times when you need to be logical and realistic towards the situations. You can't afford to get emotional and overwhelmed every time you face an unfamiliar situation. This portrays a person's emotional instability, leading them to become an unattractive individual to get into a relationship. So these were some of the traits that INFJ people have in common. If you can think of anything that I have missed, don't forget to share that in the comment section below. On that note, I'll end this video here. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.